Hello, this is Chris Buberg from Buberg Law, and I wanted to talk to you today about preservation of the evidence and spoliation of the evidence. So in the legal world, we call spoliation of the evidence when one of the parties does not maintain the evidence properly. Let's say that there was a defective product that hurt someone, or there was a location in a commercial establishment where someone was hurt, and the evidence that was necessary to prove how the accident happened wasn't preserved by the person that was in control of it. That would be spoliation of the evidence. And the federal court in Roanoke in the past couple of weeks has thrown out a case where one of the parties was under control of the evidence and didn't keep it so that the moving party or the hurt party could review the evidence or have their experts look at it to prove their case. So how does that matter in a regular case, in a case that somebody might have, like a car accident case or a slip and fall case? Well, let's say in a slip and fall case, there's a rug at a grocery store, at a retail establishment, and that rug was part of the problem. And then after the person gets hurt, the grocery store throws it away because it's a bad rug. It hurt somebody already. Well, the problem is you don't have that rug to prove your case. So what can you do about that? Well, if you hire an attorney early on enough, what we do is we send out a letter to the other party, to the party that we think is responsible for the party that we're going to end up suing. And we say, look, we are considering a lawsuit in this case. The client I represent has been injured, and we need you to keep whatever it is, whether it's a rug, whether it's a defective product, whatever it is, you put them on notice and say, you need to preserve that evidence. And what if they don't preserve it? If they don't, then you can move against them in front of the court for sanctions. They may not be able to defend the case. If you could say, look, I told them to keep this item, they didn't keep this item, and them failing to keep this item is what's causing me difficulty with my case. If you can prove that, like happened in this Roanoke case, you may be able to get the defenses of the other side or the at-fault party thrown out. So that would be a big thing, obviously. So that would be a spoliation motion against a party who was put on notice. And that's the key. You have to put them on notice. You have to, either you personally or have an attorney put them on notice that they need to preserve this evidence so that that evidence can be reviewed by the court, by the jury, or by expert witnesses. Another way that this applies is right now in the world today, there are video cameras everywhere, security cameras on banks, on commercial establishments, on buses, on bus stops. So if you have a car accident, there's a decent chance that there was a video camera somewhere near an intersection or somewhere near where you might have been pulling out that would have taped the incident. Now, a lot of people come to me and they say, well, there was definitely a camera on the corner, and I'm sure the police got that tape from that camera. They don't. I have yet to see a case where a police officer has investigated and gotten the tape. And it's not that they're not doing a good job. There's just a lot of red tape there, and it's not a requirement for the police. And the problem with these tape systems is some of them keep evidence or past recordings for 30 days. Some of them upload it to the cloud and they're never gone. Some record over every 7 days, and some record over every 24 hours. I've had two different cases where people came to me and said, okay, there was a security camera near the intersection. Let's go and get that tape. And we contact the bank or the art studio or whatever it is. And unfortunately, it's been recorded over. So in those two cases, we were missing some evidence that we would have had to prove it if we'd been able to get to that more quickly. Now, I had another case in a GRTC bus in downtown Richmond where there were witnesses who said that my client fell of her own accord. She didn't, there was nothing that the bus stop did. There was nothing that the bus stopping short or the other person hitting the car did, or hitting the bus did to cause the accident. And luckily, GRTC buses are surrounded by cameras on the outside. I think there's 8 or 9, and they have 3 or 4 different cameras on the inside. And we were able to show, when we got the video from the city of Richmond, that the car that hit the bus was timed exactly with my client falling down. And it showed that she didn't fall down just because she lost her balance or had some other issue. It was directly the result of the accident. So that was a key thing that we were able to get, a key piece of evidence that we were able to get to prove the case. But we were only able to get it because she came to me in time for us to grab that recording from the city of Richmond. So when you have a case, it's important to talk to somebody soon after it happens so that they can start working on getting the evidence right away. When I get a call, I get my investigator to contact the police officer right away, to get any witness statements right away before they get forgotten, before people's numbers change. If you call somebody 9, 12 months in the future, you may not be able to reach them. You need to get all of that locked down right away. So that's the importance of preserving the evidence and following up with a motion for spoliation if the other side doesn't properly preserve the evidence. And remember, I always tell my clients,